way.
The bottom line, I think Floridians should love all the toll roads because I can't imagine how much money is coming into that state just off the toll roads. Let's not even talk about the second mortgage on your home you have to go to Disney.
Arnie, jump in here. How do you feel about the toll road? The concept of the toll road. You support it? Do you think it works to our advantage as drivers?
It's all political things. It's just like you're a caption. And they're probably wasting all the money. They're probably not even doing anything. I can't stand it. Yeah.
Right.
They should worry about speed. They should worry about people. Speed is an epidemic on the interstates these days.
Michael, isn't he right now? People just like all the time are driving 85 and 90 all the time now. I noticed it in the last couple of years. Are you seeing a lot more flagrant violations of the speed limit?
Absolutely, and that is another revenue source for the state of Florida. The last time I was in Boca Raton last week, on the way out of Florida, up the toll road and up 75, I counted 14 Florida state troopers, sometimes in little groups of 2s and 3s, just waiting to give out good driver awards. That's even more revenue for Florida. So good job, Florida.
You know, I'm actually, you're making me remember something I had totally forgotten about a month ago. Okay. Both of you guys are going to be amazed by this. When was the last time any of the three of us heard of an officer pulling us over on the interstate, then giving us a written warning and no summons?
My buddy who lives in Ocala had it happen right there south of the Florida-Georgia line a couple of weeks ago.
There you go. There you go. So now that's the second one I'm hearing about. Arnie, isn't it almost unheard of? I mean, it reminds me of the 60s, the 70s. All right, ma'am, take that lead foot off there a little bit. What are you going home? You left the coffee on the stove. You know, it was a very quaint world where they would write you a warning. And I'm walking around with this thing in my wallet to prove to people it's an amazing thing. Because when he pulled me over, Arnie, have you been pulled over in the last 10 or 15 years?
Well, I think it was like maybe 10 years ago, but
okay.
I didn't have my license with me.
Okay. All right. But either way, you're getting pulled over 10 years ago. And that's the modern world. Michael, you know, this is an interesting question. Do truckers get pulled over more or less often? I would think less because your job depends on it and you don't want to get in trouble with your boss. But do you find that truckers are more or less pulled over?
Well, I mean, I would say, you know, now I've only got 6 years into this, so this is kind of a small amount of time. But I would say officers, just your run-of-the-mill officers, typically aren't going to pull over truckers because there's 3 times as much paperwork in terms of citing a truck driver than there is citing a car.
Right.
But the Department of Transportation vehicles that you see, they're looking for truckers. That's their job. So I think the run-of-the-mill state troopers kind of let the Department of Transportation people handle the trucks. But that's a guess.
But for sure, you're not noticing a big difference one way or the other. Like, wow, since I started driving a truck, I get pulled over all the time. I never used to. Right. I would have faith in the professional driver to be a better driver. His own life is at stake with the big rig. You know, just so many things in there. But the number of people getting pulled over is way up. Way, way up. And I believe I think the average speed is way, way up in the last 20 years. But Arnie, all right, so Arnie, this is what I was going to ask you. When I got my warning, this is what I believe contributed to the fact that I got the warning. Guy pulls me over. Now, I'm in the center lane, moving to the right lane, when he gets behind me, and pretty quickly after he gets back there, he lights me up. But he doesn't come racing after me. He just kind of slides in behind me. Now, what I had done, I think, he never told me what I did, but what I think I did was I passed a truck. And there's a new sign all over the interstates, all over the country, that make sure you pass the truck by a lot. Don't pass the truck by just a little bit and be right in front of the truck. There's a diagram that says make a nice wide pass. So because the truck was doing, 65 or whatever, I had to go to, I'm sure, the mid-80s to leap out ahead. And then I did. I gave myself a wide berth, big enough for his cop car to slide in casually. All right. So, but still, I could still be getting this ticket. I mean, obviously, I went way over the limit if what I just told you is over the limit. But it should be obvious to him why I'm doing it. Okay. When he comes to the window, this is another modern thing. They now come to the passenger window. They don't come to the driver's window anymore. Come to the passenger, which is smart, right? They get a good look at you. They can see under the wheel. It's safety. I'm all for it. But as he walks up, I can see he's a little bit of an older guy, and he is shocked that I am the guy I am. I think he was expecting a much younger guy behind the wheel, sees me, and I had my hands at 10 and 2. I had my license already. My wallet was out, ready to give him the license. And I was in a pleasant mood where I know my dad and a lot of my friends would have been pissed off because they would see no reason for this guy to be put. But I went the other way. I said, officer, I'm sorry that you needed to pull me over. I'm not quite sure. Maybe it was passing the truck. He says, just give me your license. So there was no going to be any back and forth there. So I hand him the license, and he comes back literally in 60 seconds. And he's got a handwritten warning, and he says to me, have a good day, sir. And I really think it was my demeanor. If I was a jerk to this guy or bitched in any way, why wouldn't he write me? He technically had me. But I think when he got back to the car, he summarized what he just saw and said, I'm going to give the old guy a break. Michael, does that sound like 2024 world to you?
Well, yes, but the cynical side of me says he was just a lazy cop and just really didn't want to go through all the trouble. Wow. Yeah, it wasn't that big a deal. Okay, he's not carrying drugs or anything or human trafficking. Right. Have a good day, sir.
Right. See, you're funny. Now, this is really interesting when you say that. I have a good friend in L.A. I talk to him all the time. He's a very anti-conservative guy, and he also is suspicious of the cops. But I believe you as conservatives in general have a little bit in the back of their mind about that part. Am I getting the donut guy? Do I have the donut girl down at City Hall? Is the person looking up my stuff? But it is interesting that no matter where you live and traffic your life, you bump into this thing where, like, they're so cush, they're going to let you slide. And you're actually getting a benefit because they're a lazy fat ass and they don't want to do any work. Arnie, listen, I thought we might see you, but you're not going to be able to make it this weekend, right? Is that the latest update?
It could be. I'm still trying.
Oh, okay. All right. Then you know what? I'm not going to jinx it. I'm going to keep fingers and toes crossed. But to both of you guys, I want to say we are going to have a wild-ass blow-out-the-barn-doors Saturday night comedy show at the Joke Joint in Summerfield, which is right there at the Villages. You see the big Villages sign. You see the wild senior citizens making out in the street and putting lipstick on each other. You know that you're at the right place, and it's going to be great. So, first of all, thank you for joining me today, Arnie. It's always great. Michael, fantastic as always. I'm going to see you Saturday. And
yes, sir.
I'm telling you, we are going to rock the hell out of those Villages on Saturday night at the Joke Joint. By the way, all you have to do It's very easy. You want to come to the show now. It's easier and easier. You can call or you can even text the following number of the Joke Joint. It's 352-871-0909. Alex will be happy to hook you up, but I will tell you, it is limited seating. So I would start jumping on it now. We're already at Wednesday. Yeah.
Hey, what's that number? Say it again. I want to write it down.
You got it. Good man. 352-871-0909. For people who like websites, you can go to jokejoint.tv. Awesome, right?
Wow.
It's a great website
Wow.
address right there. So do it. Yeah, I don't want anybody to be left out. Also, I haven't mentioned this until right now, but you were the two guys to share it with. Ed Tyll merchandise will be available on Saturday night. Yeah, we got
Holy cow.
we got studio posters. We've got sweatshirts, T-shirts, and even a COVID mask. We have an Ed Tyll COVID mask.
So you're emptying your closet. I see what's going on here.
That's it. I dug out every because he says to me, "You got to bring some merchandise." Like, oh my God, I didn't have a chance to do any merchandise. I go, "What are you talking about? Get in that prize closet and see what you got in there. Start kicking it around." So Arnie, love you. Great to hear your voice, Michael. Fantastic as always. Ed Tyll here on YouTube. You know, we're live on YouTube, which it ought to be enough, but I really feel that shortly we're going to be live on the Ed Tyll website all the time also. I don't know. You know, the thing is, every time I say, all right, so you've done enough on this thing now.
Come on, everybody.
You've talked about enough topics. You've been talking about topics for over 40 years. The country knows what you think. They've heard you. They're familiar with the voice. Could you give them a break?
You may not like what he has to say.
Then somebody will say, so what do you think about this new thing with I saw on the news today? And you go, what? Let me take a look at that. Then you sit there and you say, wow, that guy asked me, that woman asked me. And sometimes it'll happen at the supermarket. You'll be looking at a piece of fish. Like that grouper. You heard about that grouper, right? That grouper changes gender from when it's young fish to when it's an old fish. How do you like that, huh? Grouper trying to get into the middle of the whole sexual frontier.
Come